Let's start the show.
This is the Strong Black Fathers podcast, where each week we sit down with an influential father and dissect what it means to be a black dad in today's society, covering aspects of their life, what fatherhood means to them, their relationship with their kids, and lessons they've picked up along the way. I'm your host, Danny O'Fay. On today's episode, I sit down with Malik K. Murray, an inspirational force, motivational speaker, and mentor. He traded in a career in Hollywood for something more fulfilling and hasn't looked back since. But before we jump in, here's a short clip you can find on his Instagram page.
No, Papa. Danny, no, Papa.
No, Papa.
You can see this clip and more on our YouTube page. First thing I want to go ahead and ask you, what's something I'm going to ask all my guests starting off, because as a strong black father, you would not be a strong black father without your kids. So how many kids do you have?
All right, so I have one daughter at the moment, and I say at the moment because we are expecting our second one.
Oh,
yeah, bro!
Congratulations!
Our second one, yeah, in April.
Okay.
So in the beginning, towards the second quarter of next year. So yeah. So my daughter right now, she's 2 years old, two and 2 months. So yeah. So yeah, man, the house is gonna get a little bit fuller.
For sure. And what's your daughter's name?
Her name is Addison.
Addison. Okay.
Yeah, her name is Addison Monet Murray.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for baby number 2, do you know boy or girl yet?
No, we don't. Actually, that's why we're going back. That's why I'm going back, because we're having a gender reveal party.
Right.
I had no parts in making this thing happen. This is all my wife. So, you know what I'm saying? If it was up to me, But yeah, we're going back for a gender reveal party in Philly and Jersey on Saturday. So we'll find out. And all of our fam is coming out from New York, coming out from all over. And then we're going to do, we're going to expose that at that moment on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want a healthy, I want a healthy child. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Now if it's a boy,
there we go.
Yeah. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But either way, man, I want a healthy baby, man. That's it.
For sure, man. I know you got a daughter, so having a boy mix things up a little bit.
Yeah. For sure.
But when did you become a father?
2 years ago. So that was my 2000 she was born 2017. So yeah, that was my first introduction to fatherhood, man. And I tell you, and I was the last of all of my siblings. I have an older brother and I have a younger sister, and an older half sister. And I was the last one, to make that happen, And
you're taking your time with it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, hey, not by choice, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I really was, but I'm it was the right time, when it happened, because I mean, me personally, I believe that, on God's time and not on my time. You feel me? Sure. So for me, that was the most important, important thing, for real talk.
Okay. So you got one right now, second on the way. Any plans for any more after that?
Oh, easy, slow down.
Okay.
Pump your brakes. I mean, no, man. I mean, let us get through this right here, the second one. Because it was so easy in the beginning. Now my daughter is, man, she's all over the place. She's running, she's very active, so it's like now we're going to put another child in the mix of all of that. So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, man, to see how that works. So, I mean, we'll see. We only talk about 2 at the moment, but we'll see.
Yeah. Does your daughter have like only child syndrome or anything like that? She's only 2, so it might not show, but yeah.
It's interesting, man. She's she's very advanced, for 2 years old. And I look at my nieces and watching them grow up and like all of them, but just to be here with her every day, like to see her grow, man, she's like she's well read. She loves reading, and she's very independent. And I think that I think that's going to help us out because she wants to do everything by herself. So when this next one comes in the mix, she's going to be big sister, to that little one. So I don't know if she's going to feel like, if she's going to feel left out because there's more attention on this new one. But at the end of the day, man, I think that she'll handle it well. It's Kurt. Like, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But I think that she's going to adjust very well and very quickly.
Yeah, and the fact that you said she's independent, that's definitely going to play into it a lot.
Oh, yeah. Very independent, man. Like, she doesn't even want me to take her jacket off and her shoes off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like
oh, trust me, man. I got a daughter, man. I understand. Same thing.
How old is your daughter?
She's 4. Yeah.
Okay.
That's same thing. She's my baby, so I always want to help her out, but she's too independent.
Too independent. And what you gonna do? You can't say anything. Like, at the end of the day, you gotta watch her. And then when she needs help, she'll ask you for help. Like, she asked me for help when she needs help, but I can't offer help to her at the moment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which I like, because then she can solve problems on her own.
For sure.
Like, this is all a part of when she grows up and a part of her growing. How is she going to manage her emotions, right? How is she going to manage just things when it doesn't go her way? Like, what's her conflict resolution? And, at the end of the day, she knows when she wants something, and then she learns when she needs help, and she'll ask when she really, really, really needs help. So I'm appreciative for that, for sure, 100%.
That's great, man. That's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know you out here. You're out on the West Coast, I should say. Yeah. Are you in LA exactly, or where in California?
Yeah. So I'm in Pasadena, which is LA County, but I've lived in LA. Yeah, I've been out here. It's an interesting story. I've been out here I came out 2006, and then I went back to Philly and Jersey to have my daughter in 2017.
Oh,
and then we just moved. Yeah. Then we just moved back out here. Actually, 2016, before she was born, and we just moved back out here in 2018. So I'm in the Pasadena area, which is basically LA. It's like 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away from LA. But yeah, it's basically LA.
So did you move back to the Philly area to be close to family when you had your daughter? Was that the plan?
Well, so my wife and I were on 2 separate coasts. I was living in Cali, and she was living in Jersey. She was working and I was working out here. So we did a long distance relationship.
That's the longest it can be.
Bruh, you have
coast to coast.
We did it for 5 years, man. And I think that, like, to be honest, and I know this is about my daughter, but to be honest, like, that was really the foundation builder for the building block for our relationship. Which set the tone for us having our daughter, you know what I'm saying, and then the future ones to come, So I wouldn't take it back for the world. Yeah. But I tell you this, here it is, right? Like, so she was pregnant, man, 6 months, and I was out here. So then I had to go back. It was like on the 7th month I came back. So I missed 6 months, 7 months of her pregnancy, and now I'm experiencing it from beginning to end, and it's completely different when you're there in it,
for sure.
The whole time. She was with her family and, with when she was pregnant with Addison, but now this new one is just her eyes. It's just us three. So, I get a chance to really experience all aspects and all spectrums, of the pregnancy and her.
Okay. Are you? Does she have any like cravings or anything that you had to step out and pick up some stuff for her? Is there anything that like you didn't experience in the first pregnancy that now you get to fully experience?
Not yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think she was eating like, but this is normal. She was eating like apples with sea salt, and I've never seen her do that before.
I've never heard of that combination. Yeah, that's a new one.
So I've heard of like pineapples and different fruits with salt. My wife is West Indian, so so she's so she's like she loves all types of fruits and stuff like that. But I've never seen her eat apples and sea salt. So I'm pretty sure that there's some more cravings in the mix very soon for sure.
Okay, so you gotta get ready for the late night store runs, huh?
Yeah, man. Fortunately, the store is right, literally 2 minutes away. So
okay,
I can't complain about that.
There you go. But yeah, man. So what made you move to the West Coast to begin with? Like you, I know your family's in Philly. What made you move out?
Yeah, the entertainment industry. So
okay.
Yeah, 2006. I wanted to come out here and work in the entertainment industry, and and I did. I worked for a pretty big agency worldwide, and worked there for about 5 years, and then I transferred over. I moved over to talent management and worked with actors and musicians and just personalities for about 10 years.
Okay.
So that was the reason that I wanted to come to LA, and and it was good, man. I, as you can see, I'm still here. So so that was my initial drive, just to be in the industry to the highest level. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, the weather is amazing. I was like, well, I could go to New York, but then the winter is still in New York. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was a big jump, but it was well worth it for sure.
Okay. One thing I read up on you is that you actually produced a few movies, right? Or some shorts. Did you produce a few films? Okay.
Yeah. So I produced one short film, and like 2 short films, which was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely wanted to get into producing, but things took a change, man. Is very interesting. But anyway, yeah. So with some of the relationships that I've had and worked with some of the people out here, I produced 2 short films, and recently I was a part of a documentary about dads. Actually, it just was released the beginning of this year. So, 3 films that I didn't produce it. I just was one of the fathers that was highlighted in this documentary. Yeah, man. And that's pretty much it in terms of the films that I've done for sure.
Okay. What's the name of that documentary? I want to link it to the show notes.
It's called The Honor Project Doc. Honor Project Doc. And It's pretty cool. Check it out, man. It's actually really dope, to be honest with you. Yeah, so check it out, man. Yeah.
For sure. Now, your family's still over on the East Coast, still in Philly and New Jersey area?
Yeah, still in Philly. My family's in Philly. My wife's family is in Jersey. Okay. Everybody's still over there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, you being such a strong black father, I came across you some time back. You had your daughter. You were walking with your daughter. It was a video. You were walking with your daughter, and you were saying Johnny, and she was saying yes, Papa. And that resonated with me because my daughter used to love Johnny, man. So I was like, oh man, I love this video. But did you have a really good relationship with your dad? Is that where it came from?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's interesting because we did and we didn't, right? Like we did. My dad was in the house. Let's set the record straight. Like my dad worked and my mom, they were married until my dad left this earth in 2015.
Oh wow, sorry.
Great provider. Yeah, no worries. Great provider. You know what I mean? Like he was like the dad for all of my buddies in Philly. Like all of the guys in Logan that I grew up. Is a town called Logan. And everybody in Logan Valley, like, who didn't really have a father. My dad was like that. He was their dude. He was their pop. We played basketball every Sunday. He showed up for them when they was going through some troubles. He talked to them. You know what I'm saying? He helped them navigate just being a young black man, living in Philly. He helped a lot of people, even my brother and I. He always helped us, but there was a sense for me, there was a sense of I guess I felt he was giving all the love to everyone except me, right? And that was just maybe me being the younger son, but it rekindled when probably 2012, and I told my dad how I really felt, and he expressed, man, he was like, listen, I never knew you felt that way, because I played basketball, I did taekwondo, I did everything, and I did it at a high level, right, and competed at high levels. And, my father never really came to the basketball games. So for me, the void was right there. That was the void. Right. It was like, why isn't Pop coming to my games? Like I'm playing varsity basketball. I'm competing on high levels. I'm doing music. I'm doing all of these things, and really just to get the attention, from my dad. You know what I'm saying? But I realized, some of the things that he instilled in me, man, was, just to show up, right? He instilled to always, always work hard for your family. He instilled, he loved on all of us all the time. He was always there, loving man, and these are some of the things, some of the attributes that I got, from him. So we were close, right? We were close, but I felt like as I got older, we got closer, right? And because I could really appreciate where, his struggle and what he was going through growing up in the 70s and around the civil rights movement, right? Like I can understand as a black man, like what his demons, what he had to face. You feel me? So for me, it was like when I got older, I was like, man, I really appreciate my pop. I really do, because he showed up when a lot of his other male counterparts didn't show up, right? A lot of them, they were Rolling Stones or whatever. They did their own thing, and they never even, they didn't plant the seeds in the young men or the young daughters that they had in their own house. You feel me?
Wow.
So for me, it was like, man, I appreciate that, and I appreciate it even more, and I tell anybody now, even on this documentary, there's a father and son that was on there, and I told him, man, I told the son and the father, I was like, yo, I lost my dad 3 years ago. When we shot, it was 18. I lost him 3 years ago. Let me tell you right now, appreciate your father, appreciate your dad, even though you may not see eye to eye, just appreciate him, because he's not going to be around forever, So we were close. I'm not saying that like we were 100% close, but I feel like the older I got, the more I could really appreciate him as a man and him as a father, so I definitely understood his trials and tribulations.
I'm sure as when you started moving towards becoming a father yourself, or maybe when that seed was planted in your mind, you started seeing him a little bit differently as well too, huh?
100%. I did, and it's crazy, right? Like, he was kind of prophetic, to be honest with you, because some of the lessons that he taught me always made me better, right? And I didn't get it. Like, it's like playing chess. Like, I didn't see 7 moves ahead. I only saw maybe 1 or 2. Right. And he always taught me to and then even his lessons still resonate today. And that's a powerful thing, man, when you have a male figure, your father, or, in my case, my dad, like his lessons still resonate with me, and, decades later. So I'm thankful for that, man, for sure. 1,000%.
It's always interesting to think about that. Like as an adult, you kind of hear your parents' voice in your head sometimes. And I know for me, some of those things were so deep that it's coming out to my daughter, right? Like I'm feeding those messages to my daughter now. So, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to have that type of lineage to like the correct things happening in your life from your parents, and then you get to pass that down.
Yeah, 100%, man. And, here's the thing though, right? Like none of us are perfect, right? Like, we like to think we are, but we're not, right?
Oh, for sure.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there's things that I wanted from my dad that I didn't get, that I give to my daughter. So hence, when you saw that video, you like every day, first of all, let me just set the record straight. I took a year off from working to raise my daughter. Unfortunately, we were in a position, where I could do that, right? Yeah. Like, I could do that. And that was one of the hardest things, as a man, to take a step back and not provide financially all the time throughout that cycle. But I would recommend, for people who can do it, that it was the most humbling thing ever, man. Real talk, because it taught me, I think it made my relationship with my wife even stronger, because it taught me humility, right? It taught me the bond with my daughter is ridiculous, right? It just taught me so much about relying on a partnership. It taught me so much about trust. It taught me so much about you can't be a male chauvinist in 2019, 2017, 2018. You can't, those old ways and a mindset of how it was like, how the man is the only one that's providing. Come on, like that is no longer, that's no longer it. And, and know this, but my father, I grew up, my father was in that era.
Yeah, so, that older generation for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, it was like, man, it was, man, it was very enlightening. Would I do it again? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Like with this new one, because we have a situation where, we can put this child in daycare, even being over here on the West Coast.
Okay.
But with Addison, with my first, man, it was very it was good to do, man. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna lie to you, though. It's a challenge, bro.
I want to talk about that a little bit, man, because my older brother, when he has 3 sons, when he had all 3 of his sons, he took paternal leave.
Yeah.
And I had never even heard of paternal leave until his first son. So were you able to take paternal leave, or did you actually take a step away from the job that you were at or the company you were with?
No, I actually took a step away.
Okay.
Because at the time it was like and it was so interesting the way things happened. But anyway, I was working with an artist. I was working with a well-known artist at the time, and she left the management company. And I'm gonna keep this all anonymous because it don't matter about names. But
right.
I was working with a well-known artist who's been in the game for a very long time, musician, singer, songwriter, all of that. And she left the management company I was with. And at that time, it was like, man, what am I going to do? Am I going to go back to an agency? Am I going to go to a bigger management company? What am I going to do? So for me, it was kind of like serendipitous a little bit. Like it was perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a blessing in disguise because, it worked out. Right. So after that year was up, it was getting in the flow of things. But also, I don't want to like throw what I do. Like I have a ministry too. And I want to really, really hit home with this.
Yeah.
Like when I lost my father in 2015, I had really shut down to the world, shut down to like my family. I lost my dad in July 2015, and I got married in October 2015. So it was an emotional roller coaster.
Wow. Okay.
And then towards the end of the year, man, I was just spending time with the Lord and just going through the motions. And then I just surrendered. Like I just was like, God, what do you want? What do you want? Just have your way in my life because I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a void inside of me from losing my dad. I mean, I'm happy because I'm married,
right.
But there's still a void inside of me, and at that time it was like a ministry came, and a ministry of encouraging people, a ministry of just really encouraging people, man,
Okay.
And I started doing it on social media and stuff like that. And, I started out with like 500 followers and then I started posting like quotes and posting stuff and writings. And then it got to 5,000. And when I really recognized like that this was more and bigger than me, when one brother was like, man, my brother just committed suicide and I was thinking about killing myself. And I read your posts and I look at your videos every day for the past 2 months and you give me hope. Sisters was reaching out like, I'm in an abusive marriage. I'm in an abusive relationship. Can you give me some advice? Can you give me? And this has been going on and on and on and on. And then I realized, and then I got like opportunities to speak at different churches, got opportunities to speak, at different locations and stuff like that. And I really started to see that time off contributed to my development, my personal development and what God, the calling that God put inside of me.
Okay.
Right. And it was at that time that I took that year off because it was like, all right, let me go back to the industry, blah, 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 blah. But the year off, man, really gave me perspective. And I really had a chance to hone in on, what's my calling? What's my purpose in life? Like I'm about to have I just had a daughter. I like the industry is fine and all of that, but I'm not fulfilled. Like, why am I not fulfilled? So I started asking myself some really deep questions and I started digging deep and I really, and then this ministry came, right? And from that, man, it gave me the opportunity. It opened up just so many doors and it gave me the opportunity to really just walk into my calling and my purpose. Right. And that year off was kind of the platform for where I am now. I don't know if you saw like, my IG and all that. I know you saw the Black father, like, I'm really proud to be a strong Black dad. And I'm really proud with my daughter and everything, but to be 100%, man, it's the calling that I believe that when we find our calling in life, our relationships are much stronger. Whether we're a father, whatever it is, our relationships, are become just electric and what have you, and I feel like that year off with my daughter really contributed to that, man. That was the fuel to the fire for sure.
Hey man, that's awesome to hear. One thing that I actually noticed, I did, man, I looked through all your IG. I saw all those motivational speeches, fire motivational speeches.
Appreciate that, man.
But one thing that I did really notice and I took note of is around the time that you actually had your daughter is, at least on IG from what I saw, is that's when you started posting more and when you started doing more motivational stuff. And I was like, wow, like just looking at a perspective as a dad, I was like, okay, his daughter helped change his life a little bit, helped you out and get your message out. And now you're helping a lot of people. You got people reaching out to you, and that's awesome, man. So you're doing some public speaking, you got your ministry. But one thing that I really noticed about you is you are consistently an upbeat, mentally tough person. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
like, I mean, everybody has their ups and downs, and everybody can post what they want to Instagram, but regardless, it's I believe it. It's not it's not a front. What do you attribute to that? I know you're just saying you found your calling. Is that what it is?
Yeah, man, it is, man. Let me be real with you. Like, I'm always on a 10. So I've learned to like bring it. Sometimes you got to be at it too, right? And just really that finding that calling, man, it fuels me, man. Like helping people, right? Like it literally fuels me, right? And a lot of times, and sometimes I get low, but when I get low, I just go work out, right? Or I do something to remember that it's not about me, right? Like it's not about what I'm currently going through right now, right? Like, it's not about that. It's something bigger than that. And also I reframe. I find ways to reframe whatever's going on that may appear negative in my mind. I reframe it, man, because I've learned that a lot of times the things that we don't get, or the things that go wrong in our life is because God is setting us up for success, right? Okay. And that's my belief, right? And I have proof because I have proof, right? And you just pointed something out to me that is, I just go, so I don't really even look back at the post. I don't look back at any of that stuff. Like I just started doing analytics because people are asking me about analytics, but at the end of the day, I focus on how can I get the message to people, right? How can I change someone's life, with in 1 minute to 3 minutes, or with some words that, a lot of people don't like videos and a lot of writers just want to read something that they're going to resonate. They may not even want to go right? They just, I just want to deposit some positivity, deposit some energy, something that is going to give you a boost and really make you think. So when you go out in the world, if you're dealing with a boss that you can't stand and you don't want to do this job, something inside of you connect to an inner peace where you can deal with this boss now, because it's not about the boss. It's about why are you reacting this way? It's a blessing to have this job, right? Maybe you need to look back into the reason that you started this position. So I think about all of these things, man, and I really do, like, I allow myself to just go in, man. And I'm saying I'm for the most part 98% I'm upbeat. You know what I mean? But sometimes, I get a little bit under, and when I get under, man, me personally, I turn to God. I turn to the Word. Yeah. I have a great group of peers and mentors who are amazing at just encouraging, amazing at motivating, and I rely on them, because when you're an encourager and when you're someone, when you find your calling, I'll put it like this: when you find your calling, there's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be mental roadblocks, there's going to be some things that you come across that you may not even be prepared for, right? Mm-hmm. But when you find that calling, one of the most important things is just really committing to it, and and I'm gonna just talk about this a little bit. Like, dude, you found your calling in this.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
you found your calling, and there's not even a question about it, because I've watched your, not only I watched your numbers, but I've watched you do your thing, in building this up to something that is even above you, right?
Right.
And it's a platform that highlights, positivity, because you look at a lot of strong Black fathers out there and Black men out there, we don't really have a good positive light in the media, right?
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean we don't exist, right?
Exactly.
So you're shining a light on an area that needs to be exposed in a great way. You know what I'm saying? And you're honoring these fathers. I mean, everybody's situation is different, right? But for you to for something to speak to you and say, hey, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna stick with it, and I'm gonna see where this takes me, right? Like, you committed to it, and I think that I believe that you got something, and I believe that it's going to go far, because you're solving a problem in the universe and in the world, right? And that's the most important thing, bro. I believe when you solve an issue, like putting light on strong Black fathers, man, you already know, because it's hard, right? I don't know your situation in terms of marriage, or it doesn't even matter, but because you're raising your daughter, right? It's not easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that. So you're a voice, and you're giving voices to the voiceless, and to a lot of other Black fathers, strong Black fathers, who don't even know they're strong, right?
Oh, yeah.
Real talk. So I appreciate what you're doing, man.
Man, I appreciate that, man. It's a labor of love, man. Just like you said, there's a lot of dads out there. I went through something in my life that made me start this, and I knew that there was a lot of strong Black fathers out there must be going through something themselves. That's and right. I know that they would enjoy seeing themselves recognized and highlighted. So definitely wanted to step out and do that. But real quick, man, I wanted to talk about we talked about faith a little bit. You actually have a series of prayers on your Instagram stories. Now these prayers are very powerful. Like, I sat there and watched them. Was like, hold on. Went back, tapped back, rewatched them, rewatched them, because these are very powerful prayers. What made you decide to sit in your car or wherever, I think most of them are in your car. What made you decide to do that?
Man, every one of them, well, most of them, I was outside the gym, and I was about to go work out, and, and something just hit me, like, whenever I feel like, like I feel low, or whatever it is, or I meet someone, or I talk to someone who's going through something, I have a prayer list that I'm actively working on, and a hit list, I call it, and I'm praying for people. And it just, every time, man, when it's, when the spirit hits me, man, like, I just pray, right? Mm-hmm. And I pray over specific areas that people that I've talked to, right? Like, people that I know who are going through stuff, people who DM me, people who ask me questions. I can't answer all of them on social media. So what I do is I take it to prayer. And I take it to prayer because I know prayer works, right? And there's specific and then I just allow God to just pray, man. That's it, right? And I just put it out there because somebody needs it, right? Like, somebody really needs it, man. Like, somebody needs it. Somebody's about to commit suicide. Somebody's about to get a divorce. Somebody's about to give up on themselves. Somebody's about to say, you know what, I don't care anymore. Somebody's about to just blow it. Somebody's going through an injury as a professional athlete. Somebody just lost their job. There's so many people that are dealing with stuff, and if you come across my page, hopefully you will find something that will give you hope and light at the end of the tunnel, that you can keep going. And that's what the prayer is, man. I just want to touch people and show them that there's a better way than where you are today. You know what I'm saying? And prayer, I believe prayer works. And it's so funny you said that, because I put that stuff on I put it on the highlights, because if someone needs it, they can go to it and they can see what I'm about. I'm not about any of that. I'm about positivity. I'm about encouraging. I'm about believing in the light inside of you. I'm about helping people reach their calling, believe in themselves, get to their calling. and everything all the content that I put out, that's what it is. And the prayer, man, I pray over my life. I pray over I pray over people, man, that I don't even know on the street. If I'm walking down the street, man, I mean, all right, I'm gonna give you, I can give so many different scenarios, man. I'm not gonna go into it, man, but prayer works, bro.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I feel is important, that we should always rely on, when we may be going through some dark times.
So real quick, I want you to give some words to somebody who might be struggling. How can and their faith is being tested. How can they get back to that?
Man, I'm gonna say, in James 1-6, consider it pure joys, brothers and sisters, when you're going through trials and tribulations. God is testing your perseverance. He's testing your faith. Not God is testing your faith, but whatever you're going through is testing your faith.
Right.
And I just want to tell that person that, if you are going through a struggle right now, if you're going through something that is that you think is just unbearable, just hold on. Hold on. A lot of people just hold on. Just remember a time when you were going through something that was just so unbelievable and you couldn't make it through. And remember that time. Put that back in your mind and remember how you made it through and how you were better when you came out on the other side. Remember when you whatever you were praying for and that thing you were praying for you didn't necessarily get, but God gave you something in a way that was so much better than what you had. Remember when just take a trip down to the place of remembering when you thought you couldn't get through whatever the toughest time in your life, and you did, and now look at where you are. And I would tell them to put your hand on your heart and just be still. Feel your heartbeat, because you're alive and you made it through. And I would also tell them to get in nature. I would tell them to be still, because God's voice is a whisper. It's not on a bullhorn. It's very subtle. It's very soft. And there's always signs around you. God is always nudging you. And he's always trying to reach out to you and give you what you need. It's there for us. Even if you go into the Bible, for those who maybe, everybody may not, may not read the Bible. They may read the Quran, or they may, they may be Buddhist. Whatever the case is, God is love, however you want to look at it. And when you have love and you connect to love, whatever it is for you, when you connect to it and you get still and you get in nature and you quiet the noise inside of your head, you can really get centered and understand that it's going to be okay. You can make it through this. And that's what I would say to someone who's struggling right now. That's what I would say to them.
I can see why you've been so successful in your public speaking, because it shines through. Like, your words are 100% true. Like, I feel it coming out of you. Like, where you were talking, you were getting a little bit more hype. You're a little bit more positive, a little bit more happy. I can see it, man. I really appreciate those words, not just for the people who are listening, but for myself. Like, that was really deep, and I appreciate that. Man.
Yeah, I want to tell you, man. I know you. I'm gonna let you answer this question, but I just want to. I want to go in on you. Like, I wanted to tell you, man. This is a calling of yours, and when you come through some roadblocks and you try to figure out, what it looks like, a ministry and a calling is not. It's not. There's no blueprint for it, right? The blueprint is be consistent. The blueprint is commit. The blueprint is see it through. The blueprint is keep going. The blueprint is keep your energy up. The blueprint is keep believing in yourself. And the blueprint is just do it at the end of the day, and that's the greatest thing about having a calling and a purpose and whatever it is. You burn the midnight oil, and you don't know if you're going to make it, what I mean? Whatever area, but the joy behind it, man, and to change one life, right, is amazing, because that one life can touch 10,000 people. So imagine if you change 10,000 lives, that's 1 million people, and then it's a ripple effect, right? And so what you're doing is needed. Your voice, your platform is so powerful and is needed. And keep doing it, man. I wanted to tell you that. Just keep doing it.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother. But yeah, man, let's get into the hot topic of the week. This week's hot topic is brought to us by Cynthia Jones. And Cynthia wants to know, is it still acceptable to spank your child in 2019?
Absolutely not.
Oh, no, not.
Absolutely not.
Not,
You better
okay.
not put your hands on your child.
Go ahead. Break it down a little bit.
Look. All right. So when we were growing up, we got I got spanked, because I was bad. So, I deserved it, right? But at the end of the day, man, there's other ways. Okay. There's so many ways to discipline your child today. And one way that I'm learning is I'm teaching my daughter how to breathe. I'm teaching her how to meditate. Oh, wow. And I think it's more effective, because, and it's a challenge because, she's 2, but I think that when I learn to breathe and I learn to meditate, she's going to follow me, right? So I think it's more effective. And when you teach a child, when you teach a child to breathe, meditate, and not really physically, abuse them, right, or emotionally or mentally, right. I think it's more effective because their personality can come out even sooner, right? The fear is not in them as much as it was. Like I'm still afraid of my mom, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things I'm like, okay, should I have said that? Like, right. So
even as an adult, you're like,
as an adult, right? So, I mean, it's good to have, but you can have that with a look, I believe, right? Okay. You can have that discipline with a tone, like a nonverbal. There's ways to, discipline your child as opposed to physically, right? And if you do want to get physical, put them in taekwondo, put them in a martial art, put them in something that is going to teach them discipline, that is going to put them in a physical sport, that not just a physical sport, but something that's going to give them center, balance, and something that is going to, if they have ADD or whatever it is, something that is going to give them an appetite to learn how to deal with, those aggressive emotions and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm not for it. I will never hit. I won't hit my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I have a son, I'm not going to hit him, but when I speak, they're going to listen.
Right.
Without me hitting
put that bass in the voice.
You know what I mean? Like, when I speak, they know.
With that look too? Oh, it's a wrap.
That's it.
But that's you actually just said something about Taekwondo. I read that you were in Taekwondo when you were younger. Did that help you? Because I know you said you were a little bit bad youth. Did that help you find some direction and some centering, some grounding?
Man, ain't nothing helped me, man.
Oh.
Nah, I mean, so, taking it back a little bit. So I didn't start Taekwondo until I went to college. I went to Temple University and I did Taekwondo for 2 years for Temple University. And when I was younger, man, I played basketball, I played tennis, I was an athlete, and for me, it was just more energy. I think what helped me, to be honest with you, a few things. I always loved to write, because when I would write, man, you could write poetry, the girls were around, they liked to hear it, so when I would write, it was like that was my sense of calm and my sense of peace, and then learning like music and learning an instrument is very humbling. So I think that also gave me a sense of just calmness and peace for sure.
Okay. Are you thinking about? I know it's pretty early. Your daughter's only 2.5. You said. Are you thinking about sports or music or anything for her later on?
Oh, she's already in. She's been swimming for a year now. She went swimming. Wow. She's doing gymnastics. It's been 6 months for gymnastics. In January, we'll start soccer, and then we'll do piano probably in second quarter of next year. And then she sings now, so she has a really good ear, actually.
Runs in the family, huh?
A little bit, man. She has a good ear though, so I'll definitely take her on a journey with music and see what she likes, man. I think the best thing is to put her in as many things as she can and see what really sticks and where she comes alive and where she doesn't, and that's a fun journey too to see.
Okay. And Malik, man, these are the final questions that I'm gonna ask every dad that's on this show. 3 questions. First one is, how has Addison changed your life?
Man, bruh. Man, she's made me she changed my life in so many different ways, man. Like, I really know how to love, like, unconditionally. I really know how to be vulnerable, right? Like, I really check my attitude and my aggression and how I respond to my wife and to anyone, right? Like, she taught me how to be gentle. You know, she's changed my life, but she also taught me when to be stern and firm. You know, man, she changed my life on so many different levels, man. And like, yeah, man, like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting a little bit, the allergies in the room. Make sure I check that right fast. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So,
hey, when we pause the video, I'll pause the video. Go ahead.
No, we good. I know you ain't gonna pause it. We good. Nah, but yeah, man, that's really it, man. Like, being in charge of another human being and being responsible for another human being is just incredible. The responsibility is just unreal, but the love, man, the unconditional love. If I'm having a bad day, she comes in with a big hug, big smile, and and it just changes me, man, from the inside out. So that's how she's changed me, for real.
Yeah, little girls are something special.
Yeah, that's real talk.
Yeah. But what's one moment that you will basically live in your mind like it just happened yesterday, it just happened a second ago? What's one moment with your daughter or your daughter and your wife, or just with your wife? What's one moment that just sticks clearly with you?
Man, dude, there are a lot, but the one that sticks with me is the birth of my daughter and my wife. Like, that moment has changed me forever, man. Like, to be there, to experience that, and this is father, so I don't know how many were there. Like, she had a natural birth, and we did it together. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about it. I read books. Man, there's some things that I didn't even know existed. but when I went through that process, man, it was something between my wife and I that got closer. Something was unlocked, and I would tell every father, husband, boyfriend, whatever it is, to be present, man, and that the birth of my daughter and to see my wife, have my daughter was just, man, it was unbelievable, and that will stick with me for the rest of my life, for sure.
Real quick, man, I haven't even heard your wife's name. Go ahead, shout your wife out.
Oh, no doubt. My wife's name is Alyssa.
Okay, there you go. And you actually just touched a little bit on the last question, which is, what would be your advice to new fathers? And you said staying present. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, show up. You don't have to get it right every time. You're not going to get it right every time. You're going to make mistakes. Make your mistakes, learn from them, grow from them. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you a better father. It's going to make you a better human being, better businessman, better creative. Whatever you do, it's going to make you better. It's going to add energy and electricity to your life. So I would just tell new fathers, just show up, be present, and every day, give your all, man, no matter what. And kick back a little bit, ease back a little bit. That's one thing that I learned being on the West Coast. A little more laid back, you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
It's a little, so sometimes you don't always gotta be like too aggressive and on it and try to control everything. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna control anything. Just allow it to be what it is. And when the smoke clears, you can actually see what's going on.
That's perfect, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Yeah, really appreciate you, man. You really dropped some really good gems for new dads, old dads, and everybody in between. Like, there's going to be some good takeaways from this episode. I really appreciate you coming out here.
I appreciate that, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man, 100%.
For sure. You want to shout anything out, drop anything, let people know what you got going on?
Yeah, man. I got a lot going on, man. I got a pregnant wife. That's all.
Right.
I need to say. But yeah, man. So there's a few things that's going on. I just got and this is a little deep, but I just got accepted to be the chaplain for the Pasadena Police Department.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So and one of my reasons behind that is to really to build a bridge between the community and the police department, and
100%.
really start building from the inside out with these officers, because I feel like they need some love, they need some attention, and I just want to be a part of the solution. So I'm excited about that. I'm also maybe 3/4 finished my book. So you should be looking for that towards 2020. Yeah. 2020, that should be, all of that information will be on my social media. You can find it on my IG, Twitter, Facebook. And I also have a website, malikmurray.com, and I also want to say this, any brothers that's out there that needs a little bit of, uplift, needs a little bit of motivation, inspiration, and encouragement, please hit me up. I'm here to pray with you. I'm here to talk to you. I'm here to give you advice, real advice, no sugarcoat. So if you want sugarcoat, don't call me. But if you want some real change and lasting change in your life so you can become a better dad, businessman, better father, better husband, whatever it is, a better person, I'm here to help you with that. And I'm not charging anything, real talk, because it ain't about charging. God is going to reward me the way he rewards me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just providing a service to help people and give them, provide some light in some dark areas. So that's pretty much it, man.
Malik, man, you are a strong black father. You are a strong black husband. You are a strong black man, changing the game. You're changing people's lives, and you actually out here in the community trying to work with the police to change what's going on, what we see on the news every day. And I really appreciate that, man. I know everybody who follows you, everybody who's now going to follow you, everybody's going to appreciate the things that you're doing, what you have to come. I can't wait for the book. I'm a big reader, so when the book comes out, I'm definitely going to read it. Definitely going to have it up on the website too, man.
Yeah. Well, I promise this is the first time I'm saying it, so I promise to give you a copy. The first, you'll be one of the first copies that I get out, man, because I believe in what you're doing, and man, hopefully there's some gems, in this book and just in everything you're doing, man, that you can help some more brothers see that they're strong black fathers, man. So keep doing what you do.
Wow, Malik is no joke. As you heard, he really made his impression on me, and I hope you all listening had some good takeaways as well. From Hollywood to chaplain, from knucklehead to author, Malik is truly making his mark within his community and abroad. Make sure to follow Malik on Instagram at Malik K. Murray, that's all one word, and check out his website, malikkmurray.com, where you can see all his social media handles and get updates on his speaking engagements and the upcoming book.